Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mackenzie. Thank you for joining me. For today's video, I am going to be discussing my son's autism, and I hope, I've been thinking about what I wanted to say. I want it to be meaningful, but I want it to, come across. I'm just not really sure. So I've just kind of decided I'm going to wing it. I'm going to, speak from my heart and just tell y'all how, this has impacted our family and what, my thoughts and feelings on, discovering that my son was autistic. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but Aiden was diagnosed with Kawasaki's disease shortly after his first birthday, and because of that disease, we had to have several follow-up appointments with a cardiologist, and that is what led to us getting a referral to a developmental pediatrician. His cardiologist one day at one of his later appointments had asked me if I had any concerns, and I told her, actually I did, and my concern was that Aiden had stopped talking. Prior to him getting sick, Aiden was just like this incredible baby. He hit all of his milestones. He walked early. I was teaching him baby sign language. He was using signs. He was, communicating. He had a few words, making eye contact, listening, just this happy, bubbly baby. And then after the Kawasaki's, we kind of figured it was just because of him getting sick and being in the hospital. And then, for a while he was on different medications and then having to go to these doctor's appointments. And, that's a lot for, even an adult to go through. So it just seemed like it was going to take Aiden time to get back to where he was. And I would say I felt like I started noticing around 16 months that his demeanor had changed. I felt like he wasn't responding to me as much anymore. And I actually began to worry about his hearing. I really did consider maybe that he had, an impairment. Because it just he wasn't responding anymore. But then on top of that, he also had stopped using his signs, and I just felt like, he kind of had lost all his language, and it was really scary. So when his cardiologist gave us this referral, I remember getting a packet in the mail, which they said I would receive, and that, I was to fill it out and then send it back, and it would take, several weeks to several months to get an appointment. And the cardiologist had explained to us that, parents before had mentioned they noticed that their children lose language skills or motor skills after dealing with this disease, and that possibly it's the way that they treat Kawasaki's. Since Kawasaki's, there's not a lot known about it. They're kind of starting a study on children that have had it, so they can, learn more about it and see what causes these effects, or if there's any correlation. So I get the packet in the mail, and I open it, and it's this autism packet, and it's alarming, but in the back of my mind I kind of had already thought that myself. So filled it out, sent it back. We finally get an appointment, and I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, and so I go and I get there, and it's the Autism Center of Houston. And so that was a little daunting. And then we get inside, and we have this assessment. It takes a couple hours. The doctor was, wonderful. They asked me all sorts of questions about him and his behavior, and she's monitoring him, the whole time during this assessment, and trying to get him to interact and play. And, she's got all these different tools and tricks in her bag that, for her it means something. For me, it was just, he was trying to play with various toys. And at the end of the assessment, I remember this caseworker coming into the room, and, obviously the assessment was over, but I don't know, I don't remember the doctor really saying anything to me until this caseworker came in, and she had all this paperwork and these folders, and the doctor, kind of they were in a conversation, but in front of me, and she was like, yeah, okay, so we're going to go ahead and diagnose him with autism. And it was just like a ton of bricks. because I wasn't expecting that. And this caseworker, so nice, just starts handing me all this information and going over things and just being so, I remember her voice was just very calming and so like soothing and understanding, because I was just trying to fight back these tears because I didn't know what to do. And I was embarrassed. I felt like, oh, look at, like, why are you crying over this? This is so stupid. Like, kind of like, I don't know. I felt like I was being rude by crying. And they were just so understanding. And, the worst part about, like, that day was that his dad was unable to go with me. So then I had to drive. We had moved from Texas to Louisiana, so I then had to leave this appointment with Aiden and then drive the 3.5 hours home and call Kevin and update him on what they said, because he knew what we were doing that day. And to have to tell, him the diagnosis over the phone, it was just like heart-wrenching, because, just like me, he felt, I don't know, I guess just like it hit him with a ton of bricks. And definitely, it hasn't even been a year yet. It's coming up on a year in August since his diagnosis. And it's been really challenging because, nowadays I say, well, how much of it is it that he's just being two, and how much of it is it that it's autism, or what if it's just a developmental delay? And you keep trying to like come up with these reasons or excuses, and the truth is it's unknown. There's so many uncertainties, and it's like, as a parent, I just worry, what kind of person is he going to be? What kind of life will he have? Because you want the best for your kids. And then, I felt so guilty because you just can't help but think, well, because at the time that we moved to Louisiana, I had been in nursing school in Texas, but we moved here, so I was able to just switch my degrees at my school in Texas and finish online. I just got a general studies associate's degree, but I was not leaving that school from, all the hard work that I had put in to get into that nursing program without something. And since I was unable to finish the nursing program, I at least wanted a degree in something. So I only needed, like 3 classes and I could get this general studies degree. So that's what I did. So when we first moved here, I was in school, but it was online. So I was actually home with Aiden, every day, all day, until I started UL in the fall. And, I sat there and just racked my brain thinking about, all the times that I had spent working on my homework or doing an assignment, and, what didn't I do, or what could I have done, or what did I do? What did I do for this to happen? And I still feel that sometimes, because we have good days and we have bad days, and on the bad days, I just think again, like, what will his life be like? Because the only thing that I can really say is you just have to wait. It's a wait and see, because I don't know until he gets older. And, every day is different, and we're, like I've said, we are, immediately we're able to get him into some early interventions, and that has been such a blessing. He goes to speech therapy at UL twice a week, and then we have a speech therapist that comes to our house once a week. We've recently discussed about him transitioning once he turns 3 into a new program. So we have amazing people that are on our side and like rooting for Aiden. But, it's like, is it enough, and will it be enough? And, what works today doesn't always work tomorrow, because he's changing. And unfortunately, as a parent, I told them the other day, like, I'm consistently inconsistent. I try really hard, to help, and then I stray, or, then I give in some days because I know what his needs are. I know when he makes a certain noise, what he wants or what he needs, and I don't want him hurting or frustrated or upset. So I, try to fix things, but, is that me hindering him? And it's a learning process. And for any parent out there that is experiencing the same thing, more power to you. Keep up the good work. I want to share this so people know it's not easy. Like, I'm just trying. I'm trying my best, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing. But hopefully, in the end, everything will be okay.